Damn it.
Countdown begins. There's actually no countdown on this show. It's like the Penn State of live podcasts, where if you've noticed now on the internet, like people are doing live podcasts and like music starts and there's a dun dun and there's trailer videos in.
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that here. We just turn it on. Our uniforms are plain. There's no names on the back of the jerseys. We just kind of go after it. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the DOYO Live Marketing Show. My name is Dennis Schiraldi, and I am honored. I can't believe it. After the season 6, episode 2, it's taken that long to get Mr. Todd Franko in his inaugural appearance. It's not the first time that we've actually been in a live podcast together, but it's the first time on the DOYO Live Marketing Show of the greatest golfer and any other things that you've got going on.
Pal, I've only been walking laps around the building all these times waiting for you to acknowledge me. So thanks for finally letting me in.
That's right. It's a very exclusive club. We're going to set the bar very low today, by the way. So if you're watching, pull up a cup of coffee. We're live at Stone Fruit Coffee. Today's episode is brought to you by Lift Marketing. We also have on the show from A1 Concrete, John Argiro, also known as the owner of the Garage Mahal.
Yep. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, he's been a long time listener. First time caller as well. So we've got a couple newbies, and then back on the show, he just used to go by Don Dragish Marketing, but now goes by the mayor. The mayor, the newly elected mayor of Canfield, Ohio.
Yes.
He had a line out the door yesterday. The Elks were there, and some old ladies with some cat issues. And then he's turned into the civic stuff. And no, I'm just kidding. Our good friend Don Dragish is the king of Canfield is here.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
You know,
well, thank you for having me.
I don't wear a blazer instead of a quick vest.
We had a full agenda today. We were going to talk a little NFL football, some golf, barbecue, a segment that's sponsored by Cooking with Crowe's Cabinets, and then get into some other stuff. However, I have a funny feeling that things could come off the rails at just about any time, and we'll just end up going just about any direction.
You applied the word epic to this gathering, and I think that's I could go in epic paths. And it was a brave word to apply to us three amigos.
Well, we were getting a coffee education before we came on the air about light roast and dark roast coffee. So, and me burning my sensitive palate on another coffee purveyor's coffee in town here. You guys, what do you got? Dark roast, light roast. What are you on today?
I think we go in order: dark, medium, light.
Yeah, I like the dark.
I went medium.
Did you?
Medium.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what their meaning of light and dark is. So I just went right in the middle.
But apparently light roast has less more caffeine than dark roast.
All I know is that when COVID kicked in and we all started camping out the house a little more, I became a stone fruit snob. So it's kind of funny to be here knowing that. I think it's five bags for $30 in the French press, and Black Monday, Rust Belt variety, and then Frankenstein full blend is my favorite.
Yeah.
Stone fruit. I didn't get that today. They didn't offer to me.
Don't be fooled by the amount of testosterone in this room right now. There are some very finicky coffee drinkers. We're throwing terms around like French press. I think there's two French pressers.
French press is the way to go.
That's the only way to go.
It's
great.
Yeah.
I agree.
Remember first time going to back in my previous life 4 years ago, I had a downtown coffee shop, and they had the submersive press. Whatever.
Oh yes.
The drip.
The drip.
Yeah.
And I remember paying for my coffee, standing there like it's a quick coffee shop. Where's my coffee? I paid for coffee. Where's my coffee?
It takes about half
He's
hour.
like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. What the hell? So then it became.
Yeah, I think a pour over. When they do a pour over, they put the water at a certain temperature where it's most ideal. Then pour it over the beans, and the idea is to pour it real slow to get the proper flavor.
So I have 4 bags of stone fruit sitting in the Franko capsule right now.
Quite a science behind it. So we wanted to talk. Here's how this whole conversation started today. So, John, family. Let's just be completely honest here.
Yeah, because I was going to
My brother-in-law. Yeah, he's my brother.
If you didn't acknowledge family, I was squealing.
My favorite brother-in-law.
I
So
am-
just don't tell the other one that he's my
I
favorite
am
brother-in-law.
Snitch Franko, so I'm glad you keep
At least today. Over the weekend, watching NFL football and post, it's all rigged. It's WWE and dressed up as NFL football. Do you believe in conspiracy theories? Are you out hunting Bigfoot, looking at UFOs, Area 51?
No,
Are you that guy?
rigged. He's
You said the NFL's rigged.
I don't want to say it's rigged.
Come on, don't back off that statement.
You're marketing guys. I mean, things happen in their favor.
Yeah, but it's so quick in real time to think that you can even rig something that happens as quick and wasn't a holding, wasn't interference and stuff.
I think you have to go back to Super Bowl. Is it 3? Is it when Joe Namath predicted that they would win the Super Bowl?
That's when the fix started.
And that's when the first acknowledgement of the fix was in NFL football.
Yeah,
Like Baltimore, New York Jets,
if you've been
no chance.
If you've been living such a hard life since that moment, I feel bad for your last 45 years of life.
Well, it is somewhat coincidental that on Sunday night when I went to bed, I'm thinking to myself, my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger's farewell tour, right? He's giving the Queen's wave. Somehow or other, that game ends in a tie, and the Steelers don't get in. So I go to bed, tuck myself in, knowing that I'm waking up the next morning.
You didn't know
that the Steelers were in the playoffs, and then I almost crapped myself when I saw the game went into overtime.
Great game.
Could have ended in a kneel. Both teams get in, and they end up scoring a touchdown. There's a eerie
it was a pretty
storyline to that.
It was crazy.
Like
Crazy.
big
Watched
story.
it live.
That's what's
Goodell's in the
that's what's
headset.
questionable about it because the Colts lose. They lose to a 2-14 team. No, but they
personal connection.
They figure out how to play football at the end of the season.
So
happens all the
I'm going to give myself credit for helping that win.
Right.
So Ross Matisick is the long snapper for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was born in Poland, Ohio. Left here at 4, 5, 6 years old. They moved down to McKinney, Texas. Him and his 3 other brothers have played Division I football at Baylor and TCU. He ends up as the long snapper with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He on the My Cleats, My Cause. He wears spikes for Christopher, my nephew, who's autistic, and the rich son of autism.
Nice.
Great connection. All my nephews know him. I text him and said, "Hey, we're all the biggest Jaguar fans in the world. We're rooting for you. Bring one home." And I think that motivation right there. He went out the long snapper, and they brought it home. So that's number 2. Number 3, you got to go back a week earlier. Browns are playing the Steelers. Who's the only person that could stop Nick Chubb?
I don't watch the game that closely.
Stefanski. They stopped giving him the ball.
Yeah. What do you have? 8 or 9 rushes? Yeah.
And then you fast forward to the Ravens game. Again, Harbaugh's the only one that stopped the running back. They took him out. He was killing the Steelers, absolutely murdering the Steelers.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think they tried to create their own storyline by putting the team that they want to be in there. And this year it's the Steelers because of Ben's retirement.
The farewell tour.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it happened with. I'm not saying it was fixed when Jerome Bettis was there, but they had his farewell tour when he went to the Super Bowl, right? But he wasn't. It wasn't
the theory. Huh?
It wasn't the Jerome Bettis we knew, though. You know what I mean? They handed him a ball and opened the hole, and he ran in, and everybody's happy. Jerome scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Now he can retire. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised if the Steelers beat the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend.
You guys are working real hard to find those kind of theories and suppositions out there about what could happen.
And plus, I think Pittsburgh. You could go anywhere in the country and find a Pittsburgh fan.
Well, that's because how wonderful it is to live in our area of the world where we haven't seen the sun in months.
Just trying to creep out into that.
And we're marketing, and it's just
Which by the way, thanks for this chair. I feel blessed to have this view. You guys are staring at some crazy guys in here. I get to.
Nick Nolfi drops by, says the NFL and barbecue can be summed up with the Kansas City Chiefs. And Nick should stick around because we're going to talk a little barbecue a little later in the show.
Right.
All right. We'll sit back. We'll watch a little football this weekend. Let's place a friendly, gentlemanly wager. Actually, you know what? It's legal. How legalize it? We're just waiting for them to flip the switch.
Great coverage this morning on CBS. CBS had a good segment about the mobile betting and the craziness of it.
Well, what's interesting is in New York, they legalized it, and it's funny that just about every major app except Barstool jumped on it. I think the reason why Barstool's is not playing in the New York sports betting, it's a 51% tax back to the state of New York. So think about how lucrative that is. I forget what the B number is, but it's like 10, 20 bill or something like the billion to the betting.
Crazy amounts.
You're a Bills fan.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of the coldest games, not played in Lambeau Field. It's probably the stat that'll come out after Saturday night. But yeah, I think the game time temperature is going to be 7 degrees.
All right.
And when that wind gets howling off Lake Erie. So yeah, Bills and Patriots.
We got Bills
prime time.
We got Bills and Patriots prime time. Bills are -4.
Really? Good to hear.
All right. Who you got?
Oh, I'm hopeful it's the Bills. All season long, one team would show up on one Sunday, and then next week you get another Bills. But I think first week of the playoffs, I'm feeling comfortable. After this week, anything's up.
Mr. Conspiracy Theory, who you got?
I got the Bills.
Oops, sorry.
Mr. Mayor.
I'll say you got to go with the Bills too. To be completely honest with you.
Clearly, when you become mayor, you have to have theme music to it.
No, sorry. I'm just trying
to.
I'm trying to do about 3 things at the same time.
Let me get theme music.
Once we get rolling, we're good.
All right. So up until that unanimous decision, I was going Bills.
Yeah.
But now I got to go opposite. I'm going to go with the Belichick factor and overcoming the Bills Mafia. I'm going to go Patriots +4.
I'm believing that a Bama quarterback has never played in 4 degrees.
Ooh.
4-degree temperatures in Orchard Park are going to be tough for the boy.
All right.
He's a good dude. I love him, but he's not going to do well in 4 degrees.
Number 2. We'll just go because I'm a huge Steelers fan. The Browns aren't in it. The Cowboys actually are in it. You're secondary. Guy loves all the front running teams.
Homer. The king of the bandwagon.
Chiefs -12.5. Giving the Steelers on Ben's farewell tour. Give the wave.
Mm-hmm.
Ben's book has to close at some point. It's going to close this weekend.
All right.
I don't think so. I think it's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
For 12.5.
The only reason there's one. I think if the Steelers win and Bills win, it's Bills Steelers next week.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So small, but it's not going to happen.
KC
It's 12 points.
12.5.
That's a lot of points.
They just got drilled.
That's a lot of points.
We'll come back to you. It's like social studies class.
I'm telling you.
Steelers are going to score 16
guys
points.
on the Steelers.
I'm going to run with it.
That's a tough one. With the point, that's a tough one. Steelers are the toughest team to bet. I'm taking the Steelers. I got my Steelers.
I'm going to take the Steelers. Everybody's against Franco on this one.
Steelers score 16 a game.
Well,
KC scores 16
he doesn't want his Buffalo team to face the Steelers.
Last one.
Because they beat the Steelers already this year. I mean, the Steelers beat Buffalo this year.
Last one. Here we go.
What's up?
Cowboys 49ers -3. We got a local interest with the San Francisco 49ers and the Bartlett Corporation. We'll pick that one too. Only do 3.
Just not a fan of Garoppolo quarterback.
Okay, so
This is his last game as 49ers quarterback.
-3. You're taking America's team.
Yeah.
Jerry's boys.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'll go local.
I'm going to take the Cowboys as well, and I don't know what that all adds up to, but I think we're on opposite sides of the bet. Guy that comes in last, friendly wager. What are we taking care of? Golf, coffee.
Coffees. I think coffee's
Coffee's on the guy that wins the least.
I'll have pocket warmers when I'm back out next week, making laps around the building. So I'll provide pocket.
Are you going
to the Bills? No, my kid's going. I am not. Any crowds that get above 12,000 are too big for Todd. I'm not an 80,000 crowd person. Ticket prices are down to $25 though.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Holy
they keep dropping.
cow.
As it gets cold.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think don't
Colder
they
and
have a
colder.
snowstorm up there?
No, snow's not coming until Sunday.
I would actually, if the Steelers win and they're in Buffalo next week and tickets are $25, I will strongly make a consideration for going.
It's not that long of a drive.
So we're gonna
No,
It's not that bad of a drive.
no.
switch gears into looking forward into the spring, and that's golf season, my friends. Todd Franko is the founder of the greatest golfer
Love it.
of the valley, in the valley,
We try as
We
we
dropped
evolve.
the ball.
We are greatest golfer.
the greatest golfer.
Year
Tell
13.
by the way,
lucky year 13.
I'm a 2-time participant
Yeah.
in the greatest golfer. Why don't you give everybody the cliff notes, and then I'll tell my greatest golfer story.
Well, I'm going to tell a very personal story here. I had a almost tragic bathroom event at 1 year because I could not get to the bathroom because I was chasing all 4 tee slots at Mill Creek trying to find Dennis Schiraldi. I got, and the Mill Creek golf crew, they get kind of crotchety, right? If you're not there in order. And 808 Schiraldi, where this is, and I know he's here. And of course, I find him next to a tree talking to like 5 guys, holding court. And I'm just, I got to go to the bathroom. It's early. I got 20 cups of coffee in me. And I'm like dancing, wiggling, trying to hold it. And I am screaming around the Mill Creek area there, the concourse of Mill Creek. Where is my 808 Schiraldi? And I think I was about 60 yards away from when I finally found him, holding it. Schiraldi, get up there! So that's my.
That rattled me enough. Then that rattled me, and just
he rushed.
He
you.
did have eyes. His eyes got big. His eyes got big. But
Wow.
yeah, so no, greatest stuff. Thank you for being part of Greatest Golf. Thanks for having me here as part of that. But yeah, it is a. I tease folks. It is now a 13-year accident that I'm just thrilled to be part of. Meaning that it wasn't intended to be this. It started as something else. And I think with business and success, you think of some of the long-time businesses still in business. One of the things that key is pivoting, constantly evolving your recipe and how you do things.
Sure.
And who do you add to your marketing suite?
Sure.
And I think greatest every
Mayor.
year I've tried to.
You can.
Every year I've tried to evolve it, and 13 years going, and we're ready to go.
Division's open golf tournament.
Yeah, so we host so we are a golf event business, and my passion is to really recognize that we are a community that happens to golf, and we're an organization that happens to have golf events. So we have some single events in the season to get adult golfers started, and then our 2 core things are junior event, 12 events for juniors, and our Hickory High School girls just won state championship in Pennsylvania.
Right.
4 of those girls came up through our Greatest Golfer Junior program. Thrilled to have that. And then the signature event where I had to go find Dennis holding court, trying to hand out business cards. We should be handing out tees. That's our 3-day.
I don't have business cards.
Farmers National Bank 54 hole, which is the core of our event. That's in August.
Yep.
So essentially, we're an event business, and it's tailored around a junior program that goes for 12 events, a 3-day weekend, and then we also 2 years ago added a golf marathon, all day sunrise to sunset, 12 golfers playing speed golf, trying to get as many holes as they can to raise money for Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's a cool staple.
So Todd thinks he thinks he did me a favor when I played in the Greatest Golfer. It's a fantastic event. If you like to play golf at any level, it's an awesome opportunity to go out and feel some competitive juices. It took me like the entire front nine my first year to settle down and settle in. And it really is like you're paired up with a couple other guys. Everybody's really friendly. Everybody's really nice. A lot of people around, and you go out, you tee off, and you just got some jitters. Like you're playing tournament golf. The ball's down, you can't touch it. You're a little bit freaked out about the rules, but then you settle and you start playing. So my goal has always been to make it to the 3rd day. That's not happened yet. In the second time that I played in it, I hit Todd up late in probably a day before 2 registration, and I should know much better because I do my own event, And it makes me crazy when people text me like a day before, like, hey, can I get a ticket? Todd was very gracious, throws me in, says you got an afternoon tea time.
Literally threw him in, Johnny.
High maintenance. I'm like, afternoon. I'm probably not going to get home till 5 or 6. So Todd's like, hey, I got you an 8 o'clock tea time. I was like, fantastic. I'll be in the morning. I'll get done by the afternoon. Show up. I'm a little bit sidetracked in some of the conversations because it's like a wedding. You see a bunch of people you know.
It's a nice annual gathering
It's a
in the valley.
beautiful annual gathering. Little do I know that I'm partnered up with like the 10-time champion. How many times is Dick Marlowe?
He's a 4-time champ.
4-time champ. He was in the senior open. He was in the senior open division, right? And he got a guy that he's playing with as well. It's in the senior open division. Dick goes out and is which part at Mill Creek, 70 or 72?
Something like that.
He breezes a 1-over, like not even blinking an eye. Misses a 3-footer on like 10 or 11 and like loses it. Right? My job at this
loses his mind.
Loses
composure
for a second.
It's very competitive.
For a second. Like,
which, by the way, when you say Dick Marlowe, almost like you have to say the king of Canfield. With Dick Marlowe, you have to announce him as the greatest athlete in the Valley ever. The Valley's greatest athlete ever, Dick Marlowe.
Dude was just moving the ball around the course, and I'm beating the ball up the fairway, and I'm like, "What did you do to me, Franko?" Like he was so good. They were so nice.
The irony of what did you do to me, Franko? When Dick got off the course that day, he was talking about you. He said, "What did you do?" What an irony! You guys had the same reaction.
Well, did you find yourself playing better? Because I always heard that if you play with a really good player, you find yourself playing better.
My job at that point is to not like become a fly on the wall and not get in the way. Yeah. Like, right, just like, what do I got to do to get out of this guy's way? Because he's obviously got something going. And I mean, like, it was so impressive. And the guy that he was with, by the way,
probably Uncle Milty, Glenn.
He was probably 3 or 4 over for the day. Yeah. Like, just very easy 3-4 over. Yes. Like, made it look super simple.
Those guys are just amazing to watch.
So I get home, and so Johnny knows the rest of the story. So I get home, and I play, because you moved me up, it freed my evening up to play in the annual Poland Little League coaches softball game. And I went that evening and played in the coaches softball game, and I dislocated my shoulder sliding into second base, which is why I was a DNF for the weekend.
I forgot about that. That's all coming back.
And he ended up picking me up in the ER.
They had to reset his shoulder. It was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, one of the many general rules of greatness is the people you work hardest to get in end up becoming a weekend long problem for you somewhere. No good deed goes unpunished.
That's it.
He was the poster child for 2016.
The one guy that was really, really happy the next day was Dick Marlowe. I was like, thank God we don't have to play with him. Johnny's caddied on a mini tour or two.
Yes, I have a couple.
Let's talk about the days on was it the Hooters tour?
It was the Hooters tour.
My sister watching this right now?
She may be. That means she's not working if she's watching this, right?
Does that shape the variety of stories we can talk about based on if she's watching or not?
I don't know. This doesn't have to be a kid-friendly show. It's not rated, but
caddying on the Hooters would be fun.
Yeah,
so
that would be. My first cousin was a golf pro, and he qualified for a few of the tournaments on the Hooter tour, and I ended up caddying for him, and it was pretty interesting. It was one of 3 tournaments that you play with 4 days back. I think it was the Hooter tour, the Nike tour, and the PGA tour. So it was interesting. I mean, it was fun, and he just didn't want to do that, have that type of lifestyle, and be a journeyman and run from course to course.
So you weren't a full-time caddy; you were just doing a few events with him.
He just did a few events. We did too.
So, what did you learn most about how to walk around the greens? I caddied once in a sub professional tour, which
Right.
is club pros from this one state. But even then, the guy I caddied for, like how to step, how to hold the flag, where not to be, which I've been around a golf course before. It's still weird to hear, even at that level, there's other rules to follow. When you're caddying.
Right.
Sure.
There, I don't remember. It was pretty laid back, to be honest with you. I mean, the other players had caddies, and you just followed the other caddies and stood with your guy and did what they did, and there wasn't a big issue, and I didn't get hollered at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were there any guys that ever just like, I mean, that were really trying to make it, and that you saw that like they were really out there like trying to go to the next level?
Yeah, there were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure you would get that.
yeah, there was guys out there that probably went on to play in the PGA.
Yeah.
There were probably no namers that you would never hear. There were maybe 100 on the list. There was guys that boomed the ball 350 yards. It was unbelievable down the middle. And my cousin, he hit the ball 300 yards, and some of them guys just hit the ball beyond him.
And it's just the smoothest swing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It just goes.
Well, what's the biggest misconception though about anybody that plays golf and the guy hits the ball a long way, like at your club or at the course? Oh, he hits the ball long 300 yards. But the fact of the matter is, most people don't hit the ball 300 yards.
No,
That's a long way on a regular basis.
no.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods doesn't carry the ball 300 yards.
Yeah.
He just carries it 290, 280.
But that's it. Yeah. So I think the younger kids, the folks who can hit it 300 plus really don't talk about it. The ones who say they hit it, but they really don't, there's those ones are usually loud. The ones who walk around saying, yeah, I'm 305 yards, they're really 290, 280.
They're coming up short.
But yeah,
Right.
exactly. But the quieter ones, I mean, we have part of greatest is the long drive event. And it's amazing watching some of Griffin Todd, Kenny Keller, Nick Bradich,
Bryden.
Patsy. Who's your golf?
Unsolicited, I did MC the event twice,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
it was.
But they're all.
Didn't you come out one year?
Yes, I did.
He come out one year.
I didn't compete, but I was out there watching.
But those are all legitimate 325, 335, and you just see when the ball. I mean, even sitting at that tent as we sit in the long drive event, when the ball's going 290 and 300, and when a certain ball leaves, that one's going about 25 yards farther. It just has this launch off the guy's club, and it's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
335 leave a club.
It like penetrates
Yeah,
more than up and down.
Correct. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the perfect.
Which by the way, too, that comes from playing. And one of the things that I told you I had a conversation with earlier this week, what you're doing for youth golf in the community as well. I know a guy here locally. Actually, we'll give him a shout out, Matt Marone Mechanical. His son's a very good junior golfer. And, they're playing in junior golf tournaments, and there wasn't a lot of availability at quality, at scale, and locally. And they have to go to Cleveland, they have to go out of town. And, just this past week, he said that you guys have had this commitment to developing some youth golf tournament and program through Greatest that's giving kids locally an opportunity to play at a competitive level, and also bring kids along almost like a rec league, if you will, to get them interested and excited about the sport of golf.
Yeah, so when I tease about greatest golfer being like the coolest accident that's ever happened, there's a lot of guys chirping me or coaching me on this. And it's Jonah Carswell, it's Mike Ferrandi, it's Ed Moransky, Brian Tolmar. So there's this group of golf fans, and Jonah was the one in 2011 said, you got to get a junior component going, because we'd started just with adults, and it was successful, and the appetite was there. And right away he said, if you're going to feed the adults this, you got to get a junior going. And sure enough, to this day, Brandon Pachinski's our 5-time winner. He first appeared in Greatest as a 16-year-old. And now we've got Kenny Keller and the Snyder boys, playing out of just outside of Canfield. So there's this group of 20-somethings, but they all came through our junior program. And every year there's this good pocket of kids, and I think, well, there's not going to be another pocket of kids that's going to be as cool as this group. And then all of a sudden a group comes along, and that's where Matty Marone comes in. We're doing scoring, so we start with 12 to 14-year-olds is our one division, and then 15 to 17, right? So 15 to 17 are the other rock stars, and that's the state champs from Hickory High over there in Hermitage. And but our 12 to 14, keeping score one day last summer, and there's these two 5'10", 14-year-olds coming, and there's this 5-footer right in between them. And I'm like, all right, boys, give me your scores. And this 5-footer standing between two 5'10ers is like, all right, 3, 4, 6, 4, 5. That's his score. And I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And it's Matty Marone's son. He's got control. And I just started. It took me a second to catch my breath, and then I realized I'm just gonna let this kid go and act in his way, because he just went with it. And afterward, I said, what the hell was that one? He goes, he's been keeping score with me for leagues for years, but now the first year, his debut, and I could just see that here comes another wave of great young kids coming through. That just it's been a great reward.
Yeah.
How old is Matt Marone's son?
13. 12, 13. Where were you guys? You and your cousin Danny?
We were probably 12 when we started playing, and Danny was an athlete though. He was one of those natural guys that he was the best baseball player. He could pick up a ball and do anything. Then he picked up golf, and he put a lot of time into it too. Plus he had the ability with it, and he was really, really good. And if you're in the Newcastle circle of golfers and you talk about Danny Mangino, they're going to know who you're talking about.
Here's the thing though. Like when we were that age, my mom would take me and one of my buddies and drop us off at Tanglewood Golf Course. And it would be during the week after the morning. There was probably a group of seniors that teed off at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it would be around lunch. It would be kind of quiet. They'd drop us off and we'd pay, I don't know how much we paid, $5 to go walk 9 holes. And then they'd come and pick us up like 3 hours later. If we got done early, we'd go beat balls at the driving range. And they let us go. There was not a lot of oversight. It was accessible. It was affordable.
Right. Like free range golf.
It was
free range chickens.
Right. Just go ahead.
Free range kids.
I mean, what are you really going to do at a golf course? I mean,
it was the next step of getting that, you get your bike, you get freedom.
Yeah.
Golf was almost like that. We had some freedom on the golf course to go. The worst thing that we did, hit 3-4 balls on a hole.
Right. We had, my cousin and I and a couple of my buddies had memberships at Mohawk Trails, and the junior memberships were $80. That was, and you could play all summer long, and it was.
Yeah, we network with about 15, 18 golf courses, hardcore, and then there's another 15, 18 golf courses that we keep in touch with. But all of them have this commitment to keeping the kids playing. It's been a good run, especially the last 2 years of COVID, to make sure the kids have something, because the team sports got bared off a little bit at the start. But the commitment of the golf courses to the kids is still there. I think the challenge is that some of these parents, they drop your kid off and just let him go for 7 hours. I mean, parents, look how normal you turned out. Why would you not want to just drop your child and let him go for 7 hours? So I think parents, have a little more concern these days. But I think, hopefully we can get back to an era where, just drop them off and go. And some of our best golfers, I hear that. They grew up as a kid getting dropped off at Stambaugh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think this area though is becoming more of a. It's like you said. I think that the youth, they're trying to promote more of the youth to play more golf. I know, just even like my son, he's only 10, and he started last year, and he's starting to play. He's interested. He's really into it. He likes to do it. And I'm like, that's a great sport to learn. Please go ahead. Be much better than me. You'll be ripping them better than I am. But then with all the new stuff coming, I walked through the other day, that soft opening, the bunker in there. It's open, but it's soft.
Are we allowed to say names on here?
Oh yeah, let's get back.
I don't want to get yelled at.
So
the place in Boardman, but we can say
the bunker.
Okay.
Yeah. That double bogeys, and then the bunker, and I'm like, wow, there's a bar there. There's 4 bars in there. But I'm going to tell you what, they laid that place out. I mean, and it's so kid friendly. I mean, obviously it's for guys like us, but it's also so
this is not a highly exclusive name dropping crowd, by the way. So you can feel free to.
I wasn't sure I was going to get kicked out of the parking lot.
No naming or copyrights.
Now, does your 10-year-old have patience for the game?
Well, he does. So I bought him some clubs early on. Then he outgrew those, and then I got him some junior clubs. And his problem, I should say, his problem right now, and it's not a problem. It comes down to time. Right. So he's doing so many different things all the time.
Right.
Obviously, it's a little bit easier in the summertime. I'd say, hey, come on, let's go. We can go up to Kensington or something and just putt some balls, and like he's cool with doing that.
Right.
But yeah, for him to kind of just do it on his own,
Yeah.
he's not. He's obviously not there yet. I mean, it takes that training.
Right.
And that. But with this place opening, I think something like this.
So one's
really work.
one's my godson. They're both my nephews. How about your kids?
Right. I take them golf, and
Yeah.
you know, I take them to the par 3.
Okay, I go Mill Creek.
It's great. You know, it's a
Yeah.
great place to try to learn how to play golf. So
Nice.
I take them out there. You know, by the third, I think the third hole, you've got like a peninsula green and a water blocking it, and they both hit it in the water.
Yeah.
They both start throwing their clubs. They're 8 and 9, and
Yeah.
they're throwing their clubs already. Then they start throwing balls at each other because they're making fun of each
Because
other.
they're that old, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I've had to bench a kid or two. Like
Yeah.
we're on the car. I'm like, you're on the bench because you're talking smack to your brother.
Yeah.
I got 2 baseball swings. I mean, after 70 and 50 games in the summer, what else would you expect?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you got 2 baseball swings. I got one I think has the right disposition, and I hate to say it about a 12 and a 10-year-old, but I got one that is just nuts. You know, like just the other is very calm, very like laid back.
Sometimes-
My daughter's too young. She's like not quite getting it yet, but we do things like we'll roll the ball. Like some holes, like we get up on the green and it's like we'll just like play fun games. Like let's see who could roll the ball closest. We'll play scramble golf. So my kid is the opposite of Matt Marone,
Right.
that can hit the ball and go out and play around the golf.
Sure.
And you know, like so just we'll play scramble golf. We'll play from here on in. Get to drive the cart a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. I think that they're interested in driving the car.
Well, they
So
are.
more so
They
than
are.
anything.
They
So,
are. Because
Todd-
my son played.
Let me ask you a
This
question,
question.
and because I think I brought this up before to you, and it's hard to quantify. I mean, it's very difficult to quantify. What do you think the economic impact of Greatest is in knowing that you're a humble guy in that conversation? To, you know, like Greatest is coming up, so like I got to go out and buy a new pair of golf shoes and golf balls, right? I'm supporting the local economy. Afterwards, I'm might be going out to a restaurant or whatnot with the guys that we played with. What do you think the impact is, or have you even had that study done, or even anecdotally?
Just surveys. We do some surveys at the end, and just about all of our golfers spend a minimum of $150 getting ready for Greatest Golfer.
Wow.
It's a new set of shoes. It's a new wedge. So most of our golfers spend that. We'll have nutty golfers. It's under 100 or less and 300 or less. We have players who will spend even more on that to get ready, but not just buying gear. And in the ecosystem that's in my head of what Greatest is that it's players from all around the valley, which means they're coming from Columbia County, they're coming from Trumbull County, they're coming from Knoll Run, they're coming from Tamar. They're spending more time playing golf at Tamarwin. They're spending more time playing golf at Knoll Run. They're taking lessons, all those kind of things. It's amazing the amount of energy guys put into this, players put into this to get ready for it. So the amount of golf that these guys have, so we're about 340 golfers for that 3-day weekend. We're about 150 kids playing in the juniors, and the volume of golf that they add to their life because of Greatest is pretty measurable.
So, and that's great. So, a couple years ago, through one of the businesses that I run, we did an indoor golf outing with Avalon. They've got their 4 simulators in the basement. I don't know if they were the first. I think that they may have been the first, but now obviously just about everywhere you look, there's golf simulators. You mentioned the Bunker, dedicated towards indoor golf. Kensington.
Actually, they used to have them. To be honest with you, I think the people that had them first, before even Avalon, was that dome. Remember the dome out there in Girard?
Yeah, before
They
it
had them.
collapsed. So the
Yeah.
dome. So you have
He had one in the corner there.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, I
one
forgot
there's
that.
one going on, I believe, at Firestone Farms.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing an indoor golf outing with Greatest and potentially at the Bunker or
So there's a lot of things I love about Greatest. One of the things that drives me nuts is with 340 golfers coming to you for 3 days in a row. There are 340 golfers with ideas about what you should do next year, and they all can do it better. They all want to. It's all generous stuff. So the ideas are endless, and there's things on my ticker list that I want to keep doing. Indoor golf is something that Joe and I are talking about. We are going to have a couple of events this February and March.
Sweet.
To get going. Leagues indoors, I think we'll let that to them.
Yeah.
I think there's only so deep I want to get into this before getting into. I want to get into greatest bocce. I want to get into greatest bowling. So I want to keep golf to a certain level and get on to other. I want to have greatest marketing.
Greatest marketing.
A team of marketers in a room.
Oh boy,
I would like that too.
And I'm gonna throw a product on the table and let's see.
Go
see
at it.
30
See what we come
seconds.
up with.
Exactly.
yeah.
So
I would definitely get behind an indoor golf event.
Yeah. So one, obviously, I've only got so much time today. I think and I'm also aware of not being too much. I think you can bore people.
Saturated.
I think you got to be special with it and unique, but also let others who are in the industry have their piece of it. So Jonah's going to have some leagues. Kensington has leagues. So I think that I'm glad to let them have some of those ideas as well, so I can just make what we do as great as it can be.
I was going to ask a difficult question, but I don't want to put anybody on the spot because I know that you have you have a lot of courses that obviously support you and bi-directionally. So if you have one round of golf to play in this region, and you can opt out of this question if you think you're going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you got one round of golf to play, not with people, but you got one round of golf to play in this area, where are you playing?
Newcastle Country Club.
Yeah, it's a good track.
It was Youngstown Country Club. Now it's Newcastle.
Actually, Youngstown Country Club's a great golf course.
Yeah,
That is a great course.
I
Youngstown.
mean, good though.
No, I was going to say Youngstown. Youngstown's probably one of my favorite courses to play. That course is a fantastic course. It's laid out so nice.
Yeah.
So obviously, I say play all of them, but each of them has some unique. If you go Scratch Golf, SKRATCH, it's a national
Okay.
it's a content company. If you look them up on YouTube and look up the Dum Dum course over at Buell, the only free golf course in America is right here in the Valley.
Right.
So you got options like that. I say don't, and it's a challenge that I have with Greatest. Don't overlook the family courses. And I tell folks a great story. Greatest started, as I teased a couple times, right? It's an accident that we got here. It started as a feature of 18 golf holes over a summer, trying to copy off of your genius of marketing, you two guys. Let's have something in the Vindicator for 18 weeks and one hole a week, and we use our color technology and great design. So that's where Greatest started. And so we went to 18 different courses to get their best hole and create the dream course of the Valley. One of the courses we went to was Bronzewood up in Kinsman. And I still tell folks, have great experience everywhere. Ed's built a gem at Lake Club. Tolmire has Mill Creek going. So many great. Kensington's a great track. Bronzewood was the one place when we first started Greatest Golfer where they let's go out play number 9. I think was the hole. It's the hole where you drive to the edge and the green's down here and you're chipping up over a valley. And they said, "Oh wait, hold on a second." 6-pack of Budweiser came out with them and no shoes. These are the kids. The kids are like in their 30s who own the course. So family-owned courses are really what drove. If you think of in the Valley, there's a wave of courses that came because of Arnie Palmer. A lot of those courses were built in the early '60s push. So you got Tamerlan, you got Noel, great family owning Noel Run.
No one's great.
I think pay attention to the family courses. They are a gem of the Valley golf industry, and they are the spine. It's great to have Youngstown. It's great to have Avalon. It's great to have Lake. But don't overlook, there's some gems out there. And Bronzewood, barefoot Bronzewood with a 6-pack of Budweiser is not a bad way to play golf.
All right. We'll tuck that one away. I mowed greens at Bedford Trails for 2 years. Yeah. So I have a sentimental favorite to kind of going back and playing there, playing Tanglewood. And I'll tell you, the holes and the views along the lake at the Lake Club are pretty special. Like you don't find that, you can find great golf at clubs all over the Valley. But that view is just absolutely amazing.
And it's impeccably kept.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a huge difference.
The first college class that I ever skipped, So Chris Brown is the golf superintendent at the Lake Club.
Great guy.
We played basketball against each other from the time that we were in the 7th grade to the time that we graduated high school. And we both end up at junior college. So
Stunning.
Well, yeah, you're going to be very surprised what I tell you next. So we both end up at junior college at Kent State Trumbull campus. We continue on our academic and our athletic careers. And I'm sitting in my first psychology class there. And it wasn't incredibly huge, but it wasn't small. It was small. It was big enough that you could step out and not be noticed. So I'm sitting in class. It's the first week. And I think he was a year ahead of me. So he's sitting out in the hallway going like this. He's like, get your stuff. Come with me. And I'm like, what? So I put my backpack together. I come out. He's like, come on, let's go. Let's go play ping pong. Let's get out of here. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, they're not taking attendance. Let's skip class. So he's the first guy that got me to skip class and showed me the ropes in college. So it's funny. Every time I'm at the Lake Club and get to golf, I get to hang out with him. Switching gears to our segment called Cooking with Crows. We got to pay the bills. Crows Cabinets does new cabinets, builds, and remodeling on kitchens, baths, man caves, she sheds. This guy's got a man cave, by the way. Yeah, he built what I'll call the Garage Mahal. In fact, it inspired a podcast that's still yet to come out. The Garage, what do we call it? Stories from the Man Cave.
The stories from the Man Cave.
I think they were politically incorrect stories from the Man Cave. So
that's why we can't go live.
And it's really like, yeah.
That's where all the fix came in about the NFL because I had the neighbor guys over, all Steeler fans.
All the stories got to go into the vault there. Actually, they probably none of them could ever make. Like we were actually, I'll tell this story. Like we were going to put a urinal in. Oh, and that's it.
In the man cave.
That's it.
That's fantastic.
If you want to be in the man cave, there's a urinal.
And the plumbing was just going to be a pipe going out the wall. And it's going to be a 5-gallon bucket with
I say we
with cat litter
because
pitch it once a week.
I get to go along on this ride too. So I throw me in there. We were going to go along on this ride together, and it's just like we're setting the tone from day one. We're putting it's a man cave. There's a urinal. You want to be in the man cave? That's all you get. So, yeah, you built the garage. Mahal.
Yeah, I built the garage, and I used
car stuff.
The decorated inside like I'm talking like a woman. I decorated my garage, but I used all like repurposed material. I used roofing for old roofing for the walls and pallet boards.
We got a big flat screen TV in there.
Flat screen TV,
couch, little garage fridge.
Yeah,
and a urinal.
Yeah, I look for old gas station signs to hang up, and it's pretty neat.
And your wife is not working because she said this is after we spoke, and then his wife spoke up. Dear antlers,
right?
So the funny thing about this show is this: like Johnny knows how to do stuff. He knows how to build things, fix things, hunts.
What a brother-in-law to have!
Right, my cousin Jason. Like a brother, he too knows how to build stuff. He knows how to hunt. He knows how to do things.
Johnny, I got a question for you. When you talk about your brother-in-law, Dennis, what do you tell people he's able to do for you? Because he just ran down a list of things that you're asking him to
I got to fix.
I called him up the other day. I was like, "Is the garage open? What are the rates?" Because I got a brake job that needs to get done. So I literally have no idea what my place in the garage podcast is. But anyway, getting into it, Johnny and I like to cook. We like to barbecue, and Cooking with Crows is all about cooking. So we got a big football weekend. And the first question I have for you, Mr. Franko.
Pulled pork.
Are buffalo wings as good as they say they are in Buffalo?
Absolutely.
Better than anywhere?
No, I wouldn't say that. That's everyone who says you can only get. No, you get there. Any restaurant these days. I mean, it's such a. I would say 25 years ago, it was tough to find a true buffalo wing anywhere in the country. Now, I think the recipe, the popularity is such. But that said, in Buffalo, they are dynamic. Funny thing, Buffalo snobbery around the chicken wing. All these other cities that started doing the Parmesan rub and all these other things, Buffalo was like, screw that. We're just doing our Tom's hot sauce, a little bit of butter. But now over the last 10 years, Buffalo's come along,
Evolved.
into
More
their-
flavors.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not
But they're always big. There's no small wings in Buffalo. You know, they have those wings come like a size, a B size, a C, and then
Sure.
at your house we serve the small little D size chicken wings. But at the
Like frog legs.
frog legs,
Frog
frog
legs.
legs, Schiraldi cookout with frog leg chicken wings. So, but at Buffalo, he's got a little unbelievable.
I'm actually offended. I go to Rulli Brothers to get the big fist-sized wing. Of course, right now wings are like more than Bitcoin.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, wings are so expensive.
So, but one thing about Buffalo wings, aside from the wing, is it's blue cheese. Don't ask for ranch. My brother has a pizzeria and a wing shop, kind of on a west side kind of part of Buffalo.
Okay.
But if you think of the west side here, and a friend of mine stopped in town, and he goes, "I got to tell you what your brother did to us." My wife bobs up to the counter. Can I get some ranch, please? And he goes, "No, blue cheese." And he does it on purpose he knows you're an outsider,
Right.
If you ask
For ranch.
So
That's like the
yeah.
code word.
So Buffalo is blue cheese. Do not ask for ranch in Buffalo. There's no
So-
such thing.
Duly noted. I won't want to look like a tourist.
Yeah, exactly. You are not from Buffalo if you ask for ranch.
I've smoked wings before and then flash fried them.
Mm.
I don't know if that's very Buffalonian. Is that the right term?
Buffalonian, yeah.
So, but I have.
Buffalonian or incarcerated. One of those two. That's how we describe ourselves.
Donnie, you got to barbecue something.
Yes.
What would you be barbecuing? Or do you got a go-to restaurant?
No, I don't say for barbecue. No, I used to. If everybody remembers back in the day, and they all say, "Oh, it's changes. Now it's this one. But remember Armadillo's on Mahoning Avenue?
Yeah.
That place was fantastic. Like their barbecue was just like it was right there. But no, a barbecue chicken wing. I like doing them too. I do them several different ways. Depends, in the wintertime or in the summertime. I'll throw them in the oven, cook them up real nice, then throw them on the grill, and then just mix them with the sauce. It's delicious.
Yeah, definitely. That's Buffalo's starting to pick up on doing the char at the end.
Sure, it's nice. It just gives it that nice little burn at the end. But I like them hot. I like my wings. I like hot wings. Like I truly like hot wings.
Can't do it.
To the point where my son even now he's like, "Dad, let's get some hot wings," because he's starting to like it now.
So clearly, you're not a man who sweats. Because to get the hot wings, I mean, I get out of bed and there's little things.
It depends on how hot they are.
Yeah.
But I do like a good hot wing. It's good. It's very enjoyable.
What I do, I get the large wings. I don't get the frog legs.
Frog leg.
Right, I get
That's
the
only the
large wings.
Schiraldi.
I get the whole wing, and I put a dry rub on it, and then I put it in the. I got a pellet smoker, and I put it in the pellet smoker and let them smoke for 3 hours, and I think they're great that way.
Well, this weekend we've got pulled pork at the house.
What time?
It depends on what time I get out of bed on Sunday
Just
night.
send me a text.
Saturday into Sunday. It's a 12-hour cook.
Is it really?
So you gotta go, obviously you gotta get up at like 2 a.m. and have the fire ready and all that good stuff. So I enjoy that. I'll talk your ear off about pulled pork. I don't know in the area. There's a lot of good offerings right now. Space Cat left town, but I like making barbecue. I like barbecue at my own house, and the reason is that it's a great hobby. I get my mind off marketing. Other than then, I start thinking about opening up my pulled pork stand at the corner gas station. If all else fails, that is an option.
That's what you're gonna do.
That's the fallback plan.
Which corner?
Market on South Avenue and Western Reserve Road, a heavily trafficked area. There's a Shell station over there. I feel like that's a prime location, although they don't have a lot of extra space in that spot. But that's where I feel like I'm going.
We'll put you in the corner of Siddhar's parking lot there at Cafe 422.
I think there's a lot of space in this parking lot. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Maybe up
Put you right up there in the front corner.
Yeah.
South Avenue.
Yeah.
All right, so we're winding down the show. I forget what the heck we were supposed to be talking about today.
How about A1 concrete level?
All right, there we go. Go ahead.
So
Let's talk about this for a second. So you got a crack in your sidewalk, your basement's sinking, and you're gonna pay somebody to come out and blow up the sidewalk, or you're gonna call you.
Right. If you have an unlevel slab in your driveway, trip steps in your walkway, I could come out and level it out. And what we use is we have a pump truck that pumps limestone, and we drill 1-inch holes in the concrete, hydraulically pump limestone.
Mud jacking is what we talked about.
Mud jacking.
Is how I heard it. But,
yeah, that was the old term, was mud jacking. Now it's just leveling.
And I'm a testimonial for
right.
it once you get going there.
Right. Yeah. We did a patio for you.
Yeah. So I'm buying this house in Poland, on the lower scale side of Poland.
The other side of Poland?
Not where the wealthy folks live in Poland.
I'm on the upper end. I'm on like the Jeffersons.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the Jeffersons of Poland. I'm at the Sanford and Sons part of Poland. And we're looking at the patio, and it's with the realtor and the home inspector. And I'm not a genius. I'm not you. All these things you're talking about. I'm more on your side of it, where hey,
you have to believe him.
I'm calling for help from somebody, right?
Right.
And we're trying to figure out, is the patio tilted toward the house? You can see some lines on the foundation where maybe the cement used to be. So I went and got a garbage can from inside the house and filled it up with water. And while they're all kind of sitting around trying to figure it out, I just threw water, and sure enough, right toward the foundation. I remember telling the home inspector, is anybody around here? Because I wasn't from here. I moved here. I said, anyone around here doing mud jacking? And he goes, what the hell is that? And he goes, well, there's this leveling company. Is that the same as mud jacking? And 14 years later, I didn't know this until we were walking in today. But yeah, absolutely attest to leveling, mud jacking, pumping that thing.
It's very cool.
It was wicked to watch the whole.
Right. Yeah.
This is a 20-foot by 40-foot patio slab.
Right.
And the whole thing just slowly rose up.
Raised patio.
Yeah.
Raised patio. That's big for us because we could save you a lot of money opposed to replacement. If you go replace that and you rip that out, it's more than just ripping out the pad.
Yeah.
You're breaking up the block that it's sitting on
Right.
too, and you have to redo that also and bring in fill, and then it's probably in the back of your house.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
And one thing too, critics to your industry,
Right.
because when I was calling some concrete guys, you don't want to invest in that. They said after a few years, it's going to settle back down. 14 years later, it's still at that line.
That's what I was going to ask. So it's 14 years later, it's still there. Wow, that's crazy.
we're using limestone. We're using the same base as you would if you would replace it.
Right.
And we're just not ripping it out. We're pumping it underneath your
That
concrete.
makes sense.
And it's similar to if you're familiar with brick pavers.
Mm-hmm.
They put the brick pavers on 411 limestone sand and pack it down. And if you ever pick up one of them brick pavers, it's hard, almost like concrete, but it really isn't.
Right.
But that's what we're trying to replicate under your concrete is a proper base for that concrete to sit on, so it's stabilized. And it really works.
Small little holes about 18 inches apart, and they just keep going along the foundation. And the guy who's doing it, he was like a Picasso of it. The hose went into one hole for about 5 seconds, and he went to the next hole for 5 seconds, and then almost like making this the whole thing just came up.
And we did it in 2007, right?
2007.
And we have the same workers that did your job today. And that's something to be said about our company.
The only thing I'm mad about is had I known all the other things that you can do because of Dennis's promotion, I stayed in the house like 6 more hours. I got some brakes to look at. I want to put a cabinet in here.
Right.
I totally missed out. Your
I'm a
customer
jack of
service-
all trades, but master in none, right?
But yeah, was it first time using it? I had no idea who you were.
Yeah.
It's true story.
True story.
That's very cool. Yeah,
I saw that because I didn't think that would. I figured that you like Dennis, worked in some high rise and whatever. I saw the shirt and I said, "Is that your company?"
I'm just a basic concrete.
Yeah, no, because when I saw it, I remember right back to 2007 and that patio just coming back to life.
The ivory
What did I
towers,
say?
right? The ivory towers.
I just get going and I get in trouble out.
I just can't. Early on in my life, I was fortunate enough to get a general labor's position in the Falcon Foundry. And that was in my sophomore and junior year of college, where my dad felt I needed some proper motivation. He was a foreman there. He saw me skipping class as a freshman. and just said, "Yeah, I think this is a great summer job for you." And so I worked the afternoon shift, 2 to 10, 3 to 11. Johnny worked there for a bit, and so we'd go to work there, and the day shift would be getting out, and the afternoon term would be coming in, general labor pool, and so a lot of the dads of the kids that we grew up with in Mobile worked there, and one dad in particular, he'd be covered from head to toe, and it just, the work that he was doing in the foundry was dirty, hard work. And he would just say, covered in dirt, and he'd look at us and go like, "Stay in college."
Yeah.
He would look at us and be like, "Stay in college, right?" And like, and you just be like, "Yeah, I can't wait to go back." I can't wait to go back. So, but I didn't learn how to do my that didn't translate into actually knowing how to do things. Around the house and things like that. But
Don, did you grow up with that same opportunity to work in like a foundry kind of setup? Summertime?
No, I didn't. I worked at golf courses, but I again, like he was saying before earlier, that he was cutting greens. I cut greens, but prior to working myself up to that point, I worked at Mill Creek, and you get there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're working with people at that level. Even you're working with people that are like, this is their job. Yeah. But there were some people that have been there forever, older guys. And they're like, "Well, today you're going to learn how to do drainage." And I mean, I put in most of that south side drainage. Remember when we had that big problem and everything just kept flooding? I put most of that drainage in.
Oh yeah,
the ditch diggers, and then laying the gravel and the pipe. And I mean, I did that. I mean, and I learned that, those guys. I mean, so now like, there's certain jobs that I can do at my house that I'm like, yeah, I could do that, but because I learned it.
Yeah, I learned that on the golf course too, like laying French drain.
Yeah.
But and the big misnomer though, coming back to A1 concrete, you have concrete in the title, but you don't necessarily do concrete mixes.
No, we don't pour new concrete. We just fix existing concrete.
Yeah.
And we do foundation repair. Also,
that's why it's A1 concrete leveling
and foundation repair. And if you see a vertical crack in your wall, anything structural, we'll take care of it. And it always leads into a structural problem, leads into a water problem. You find that it's essentially it's a water problem. So indirectly, we're going to take care of the water problem that's going on.
Gotcha.
Right.
I think we said we were giving away random tickets actually all you guys get a ticket to DOYO for being on the show today, so thank you much. Well,
I am
and it's not
back row top.
It's not necessarily VIP. When it comes along with that free ticket for this participation, if you're having to be asked to like carry some food trays around or do some like that's
labor
work. And I think we were giving away 2 free tickets to Golden Star Theaters today to one random viewer. So we'll make sure that we go through and we find that. We'll announce that coming up. Before we drop out, Mayor-elect, we heard a little bit about Valley's
King of Canfield,
greatest A1 concrete,
right?
Mayor of Canfield.
Yeah.
What type of economic development do you foresee in the city of Canfield over the next 12 to 24 months? What are you working on? What can you say?
Well, I got my 4 years now ahead of me. That I need to do something in the next 4 years, and I believe it's going to happen. So how things are kind of being shaped right now. There was a piece of property that we had annexed a long time. I was in council before several years ago, and then I got out of it. But when that had happened, then we had annexed this piece of property, 280 some acres of property. So there was a lot of that to grow that way, to grow south of Canfield, because we were kind of being landlocked in a sense, and not able to annex any property. You couldn't go anywhere, couldn't move anything. So but with that being said, with that piece of property there, and there's been some movement going on there. Not only that, Canfield's always been a great community. It's a safe community. I just think it needs polished. I think we just need to take it to the next level. It's a great community. There's good people there. And now it's just time. And I think I'm able to find some investors to come in there and really take a look at some projects and see, put the money in, can't keep it local. And I think there's some people that we've been talking to that are going to start that. There's a few projects that I can't necessarily say right now, but they are going to be coming. There's going to be some press releases going out probably towards the end of the month, beginning of February. Some big news is some stuff coming into Canfield already. And that's just been based upon the fact that we're going to cut the red tape. We want to cut that red tape that's making business hard to make people come to Canfield because we can't do business. You guys make it really difficult. Well, okay, what's making it difficult? Let's get rid of it then. We want to give them some tax breaks. We can give you a tax break. We'll give you a tax break. Like whatever we got to do to get your business. We want business in the city.
What's your comfort level when? So if I've been in business in Canfield for 20 years, because tax breaks, that's like
sure.
You get people touchy on. Like,
right.
I've been doing it for 20 years. I didn't get a tax break, and I didn't make it. Why should this person pay?
Sure. Well, and really, what we're going to do is, and how that really works is, we're going to do it on, say, like property. So, like, if you come in there, we're going to say, hey, we'll give you, if you want to build a $5 million business on a piece of property that you paid $100,000 for, we're going to give you the tax break, and you're only going to have to pay on the $100,000, not on the $5 million or $7 million that you're going to spend on the bill, right? So. Yeah, and there's some projects. There's some new housing development going on right now. They're finishing up a new street that they put in right off of 46, right across from the old cemetery there, which is going to be a nice couple builds there. Coca and DeLuca, I think, are building up in there. But then there's more of that to come. There's been some good talks now with the school system. School system's looking to build some new schools, but they got to get the money first. So, and you know how that is. Canfield is such a good school system, but where we're at, there's too much money in Canfield, so the state doesn't give us any money.
Yeah.
Same thing in Poland.
It's interesting. Like
you get $80-some million or $60 million to Youngstown schools, and they have all brand new schools, and we have the old schools that we have still from the 60s, but they don't give us any money.
We're on the tour like right now with junior high basketball, and have been for a couple of years, where we go to all these schools in the area. I mean, we went out to Crestview the other day for a third grade basketball game, and my kids walked in the gym, and they're like, they got a jumbotron. They had a hanging scoreboard in the main gym. And then across the hall, there's an auxiliary gym that's nice or better than my high school gym.
I mean, look at South Range. South Range is right down the street from Canfield.
We just played there in the junior high gym.
Yeah, right.
But I'll spare you the details about the bathroom. We got a segment called Overrated, Properly Rated, Underrated to wrap up the DOYO Live Marketing Show presented by Lift Marketing, live from Stone Fruit Coffee. All right, you ready?
Try it. I don't know what I'm about to get into, but let's go.
Overrated, underrated.
Coffee.
Underrated,
overrated, properly rated.
Properly rated.
I'd say properly rated.
Very good. I think it's properly rated.
I think not Stone Fruit's coffee is just overrated, but coffee in general is, I think, completely overrated, because everybody's always like, let's go get coffee, getting too much coffee, getting jittery, right? All the side effects that come along with anyway.
It's a path toward human interaction. I think it's a gather. Coffee is a gathering opportunity. And honestly, when you order coffee, I don't think they ask me how I voted. I think that's why. I mean, they don't care if you're this side or that side. It's a gathering vehicle.
Do you think they're judging you though based upon whether you were a light roast or dark roast guy? Do you think that identifies with a mask wearer or non-mask wearer?
I think quietly that they do. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good scorekeeper. It's a stat.
I think it depends on where you're getting your coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you're getting coffee. I think a place like this and a Starbucks is a little bit different.
Excuse me. Funny you ask that, because when you get that question at a cash register, do you want to give $1 or something?
Right.
Because of my charitable choices, I always say no. But I always have a fun time talking to folks,
sure,
asking them how many people say no or yes a day.
Right.
And then once they start talking, I go, and the people who say no versus yes, what do you think about that? What do you? Because I'd already said no.
Sure.
And it's funny to get that talk.
So what you're saying is that you feel that there needs to be a reason as to why you're not giving. You acknowledge the reason why you don't give.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I just want to know.
I want them to know that I'm not just
I'm not a complete jerk, only a partial jerk.
Right.
Make sure,
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, donate to this or to that. I'm like, I have 4 kids at home. Unfortunately, I'm my own charity cause. Or Dick's Sporting Goods is a prime example. Like, would you like to give to the Dick's Sporting Goods athletic fund, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I give 20 to 30 hours a week to coaching and involvement in youth sports. I think I've done my donating.
Yeah,
Right. You guys completely got us off task on overrated.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
NFL playoffs. Overrated, properly rated, underrated.
Oh, man. I think partial, properly rated. But that said, I do think we get a little too obsessed with it overall, I think the football culture. But this is the time of year to really dial in. So I think it's a great stage they've built, and I love it. I think it's properly rated.
I have to agree. Say it's properly rated. I mean, like, it's football. I mean, how much more exciting can you get? You know,
I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
I do. I just think it's overrated.
I do a lot. So between that and
NFL is
college,
overrated.
well, but even college, I mean, I do wonder why this sport. Why does society gather for
Right.
18 weeks a year?
Right.
So I do have problems
On
with that.
Saturdays?
Well, both but around football, yes, and on Saturday and Sunday, I do pause because I love green space, love figuring out how to make things work. I love grabbing a slow, deliberate thing like golf and making that. I do wonder why 80,000 people in Buffalo stop what they're doing. They're going to go sit in 4-degree temperature.
Well,
it's an amazing accomplishment that football's become this in our life. I don't agree with it, but I do marvel at how it's become what it has.
fan is short, obviously, for fanatic.
Yeah.
And if we don't acknowledge the fact that football has become America's pastime, we're sadly mistaken by all of it. And that's a whole podcast in its own right? I mean, like, you've got baseball Hall of Fame voting going on right now, the guys that are not getting in, and that's a great debate. I say that the NFL playoffs are underrated for 2 main reasons. Number one, the NFC and AFC championship weekend is amazing, right? Like, you got the Final Four of pro football that guys you're seeing max effort. It's like NBA finals. You're seeing max effort of the world's greatest athletes in their sport going at it and really competing and really wanting to win. It's not like week 17 or 15 or 13. Like, it's like life or death. The other reason why I think it's underrated is because when it ends in like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, we have that winter lull, that hangover until March Madness that leads us into the spring eternal with the Masters. So when it ends, like, I'm a little bit like, wow, it comes down to like, there's nothing to do.
Right. There's nothing on TV.
There's my wife and my kids.
Right.
Oh, hey guys, I'm back. I'm here.
Well, that's when you call your brother-in-law over and catch up on house chores.
Yeah.
Projects.
When you
Johnny, can you come on over?
I need my brakes fixed.
Or we go to the garage Mahal.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though I think it's like the WWF and the NFL is like the
Arranged fix.
Yeah, arranged fix.
Scripted.
It's like a train wreck. You still got to watch it.
Train wreck. Good again. All right.
Yeah.
Buffalo chicken wings. Underrated, overrated, properly rated.
Properly rated. They're the king. Buffalo wings.
I never had chicken wings in Buffalo. I'm sure.
Well, in general, come on.
So wait, Buffalo wings as a dining item or Buffalo itself wings?
Let's just go wings because
Just
you're
wings
the
in
only
general.
one. You're
Just
the
wings.
only one here that I think has ever.
It's a. I mean, handy dip in onto the next. Immediate gratification. Simple thing to eat. You're on to the next one pretty quickly.
We're gonna have to break this segment out.
It is the perfect. It is the perfect food, and it even God gave you a place to hold it fine. Whether it's the drumstick or the flats, you got a perfect spot to hold it. It's only a little messy. Whereas if you go barbecue or pulled pork, it slops all over your dude.
So there's a little side question there. So are you flats or are you
I am drumstick.
drumstick?
Because you get it in there, and there's a certain way to twist and pull.
Yeah. Drumstick's the easiest to go.
Yeah.
Drumstick.
Okay.
What's the question again?
Wings.
So much.
Wings as a food staple, properly rated.
A lot
underrated.
going on here.
Yeah, a lot going on. Like wings are like coffee. For me, anyways. You're always searching for the best cup of coffee. So you go out when you go out to dine. Oh, this place has wings. Let's try them, see how they are. I think it's exciting is to try
And having
New
come
wings.
off the Hooters tour, did they have wings on the Hooters tour?
No, it wasn't like that.
Hooters
Hooters
wings
wings-
are a lot
Hooters wings-
better.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
used to be bad. They used to be really bad.
Wings, on your opinion?
I love chicken wings. I think they're properly rated. I don't think they're underrated. I don't think they're overrated. I think
And
they're
unlike other-
properly rated. I think they're perfect. Like you said, there's so many places that have them now.
Right.
But there's not a lot of places that have really good ones. So like the ones that have really good ones, they stand out.
Grade
those
4
are-
wings, the frog leg wings.
Yeah.
Underrated. Simply
yeah.
underrated. Like they're just
They're
it's a
good.
great food. You got multiple combinations of sauces,
Yeah.
occasions, wings and a beer in a ball game, and I'm literally in a very good place.
There's sustainability with a wing too, whether you're live at a party, all the other things on the table, the dip tends to lose its punch a little bit. A wing over 4 hours, it's still
Even cold is good.
Cold in that, I was gonna get that.
But you know what? But I think it's the perfect vessel for a high end or low end meal. So you can go with just wings and pizza, and you're like, yeah, it's a cool little Friday night,
Right.
Or you can go with like, Thai wings and go an Asian flair and like go into a completely different
It's like blazer chicken.
Yeah.
You got a jacket.
Exactly.
All right. So last question: golf in the Valley. We'll consider it the 5-region area because we can't just say Youngstown region. I won't get into the whole controversy behind saying Youngstown region. The Valley, golf in the Valley, overrated, properly rated, underrated.
Underrated. We have some gems. I think with Greatest, my whole 5-year path forward is to bring more people here. I mean, there's some companies doing it now, bringing some outsiders here. They're going to people come from Pittsburgh and Toronto and Michigan to play golf here. It's becoming. It can be our destination economy.
We don't even get into the
We
Western.
don't have Niagara Falls, so
I
we
agree.
don't have mountains,
I agree.
but we have a great selection.
We don't even get into the course in Western PA.
Stonewall.
Stonewall.
Played there.
Very, very underrated. Very underrated. Underrated with price also.
Mm.
The price point for golf
Price
areas.
spectrums.
Yeah, it's cheap to play compared to other.
Underrated. Completely underrated. I think in the next 10 to 20 years, golf in this area is going to take off.
Well, you're gonna need to, as the mayor of Canfield and owner of Dragish Marketing, figure out visit Canfield. You got hotels, you got bars and restaurants, you got a casino right down the street, and you have some amazing tracks right there in Canfield to visit Canfield. And I believe this for a very long time. So living elsewhere, Youngstown golf is significantly underrated on price and value of course and quality. The Donald Ross course
And legacy. That's what I'm glad you got.
Yeah,
to
so
say.
the 36 hole course over at Mill Creek, Donald Ross course, I think it's $25 for a cart and 18 holes on a weekend. When I lived in Columbus, Ohio, almost a decade ago, that same course was $75.
Yep.
And then right now it's probably more like $125.
Yep.
And those designers you mentioned, Palmer came through, and like those designers came through in the history of the design in Youngstown. They came through and they laid tracks here and there. And I'm not a big fan of Donald Ross courses, by the way, just because
They sneak up on you.
they sneak up on you. That visual with the bunker sitting 30 yards ahead of the green, you think it's a green side bunker. But needless to say, I'm a firm believer that there is a destination golf package in this town for somebody that wants to grab it is waiting to happen. Based upon what I just said about you've got restaurants, you've got bars. What do people like to do? And mainly guys take golf trips. So there's bars and restaurants, good opportunities there. You've got a casino now. Table games would be great, but it's still a casino. And you've got great affordable golf. You've got Mill Creek that you could put together with Kensington, with Firestone Farms, with, if the clubs even got involved to Stonewall. I mean, you've got a lot of courses. And what package do you want? Do you want the 2 courses a day? Do you want the 1 course a day? And do you want the Mill Creek with the Kensington, with the Firestone Farms, with some of our local tracks? I think it's an endless opportunity.
I will tell you too, like, and I've talked to several different golfers. I'm sure you the same way. Like, so when you travel, when I travel, I'll try to golf if I can. If I travel in certain spaces, like if I go down to South Carolina, like I'll take my clubs, go to Hilton Head. And I want to play at least one day on a course down there, just because it's fun, right? Yeah, price wise, no comparison to here, but it's different golf. Florida is different golf. The grasses are different. I will say this. I mean, I know I'm from here, but golfing on these kind of greens and these kind of grasses, like it's my preferred way to golf, other than the other courses that I mean, obviously I haven't played like Pebble Beach or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, but I played courses in the desert, and they're not the same as playing here, and we have so many of them.
Do you find it easier or other courses are harder? Because I haven't played out of the
I find other courses are just different. They're like not, and I think it's more different just because I don't play them often. So like, because you don't play a course, when you first play a course, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to play a course when you've never played it. But
I mean, golf is hard in general. Whether if you're
right
on a wide open prairie, just like you strike a ball straight. But then here, I think when you add the maturity of the trees,
that's what it is. Yeah, you don't get a lot of, like, that's a good way to put it. Like, you don't get a maturity in some courses. They're just very new.
Right.
I think the opportunity, because we have some great companies here in town that are bringing in outside golfers. I'd love to challenge them, those owners. It's the Pine Lakes Group, and it's the Avalon Group, and it's the Reserve and Links Group. I'd love to.
Oh yeah, Reserve could be into that right.
I'd love to find a way the human capacity that comes in here through those excursion opportunities now, and it's JV, I think his name, over at Pine Lakes, is a great gig going, is grab that talent that's coming in to see us for the first time and tease them with materials or even a Renaissance tour or but show off the valley while they have it. Now, granted, there's 4, 8, 16, 12, guys coming here, they want a certain thing, but while they're here, you can capture their attention, Mayor of Canfield.
Sure.
You can capture their attention, even if it's just start with a brochure. They come back, that maybe they do take a visit to downtown and see some of the building opportunities. They see Canfield and Poland neighborhoods,
sure,
in the school system. And
I think that's a great idea. To be honest,
business expansion opportunity.
Sure.
The 16 guys coming from Toronto spending a weekend over at Avalon. There's some business leadership in that group that they're looking for a place to expand a business.
Sure, contacts.
I'd like to see that dot connect.
I would. I mean, and I would even, I'd take it a step further, and with our hotel in the downtown, the DoubleTree is a fantastic offering because of the central location. You're in our downtown. There's entertainment opportunities. There's bar opportunities, and then you can get carted around to like pretty much any golf course with no traffic, at all. So whether you're playing the golf weekend, when you do the Avalon trip, you're pretty much regulated to their properties, which are amazing properties, and that's and an amazing experience. And then you can kind of get independent of that as well, and look at something like that, which then I think where you're going with that, it leads to opportunity for investment, obviously, into our community.
They should see Lake Milton. They should see Mill Creek Park, not the golf course, but
Mill Creek is.
They should see White House Farms. They should see some of the rolling countryside.
Well, you know what though, but I think that's more part of a bigger conversation though. See, I think that's where in my opinion, I think Youngstown as a city, I've always said this before, but I think there needs to be more communication between Youngstown City and all the suburbs, because the suburbs kind of do their thing. Like we're over there in Canfield, and like we do our thing in Canfield, and Boardman kind of does their thing in Boardman, and Poland does their thing in Poland, and they have golf courses, and Boardman has golf courses, and Canfield has golf. But like we never tie anything back into Youngstown. But everybody comes from Youngstown, comes out. So, but that's where I think Youngstown is, like you were saying, Dennis. You have the hotel and stuff down there, but I think the play for Youngstown is more the university, the downtown. That's where the base of the students and all that stuff's at. But if we can work with them from the outside sections, right, and say, hey, listen, look, this is where we can have this transit back and forth, or whatever we might want to do.
Well, another deep topic, and you're getting into kind of the joint economic developments that frankly just haven't never gotten off the ground with the the leadership in the area. But from an economic development perspective, you need a JED that's going to bring the communities together and closer for the benefit of all. But in the same note, we're in a much better spot. Like a decade ago, when we were kind of spinning the globe of where do we want to go back to, and I grew up here for 20 years, and could frankly went anywhere that we wanted to, but we ended up back here. Family had a big portion of that, but you still have to put food on the table. And I'd say that the opportunities that whether were presented to me and to us as a business, and whether we helped to create those opportunities or recognize them, whatever it was, I don't think that those same opportunities existed in the New York Cities or in the Columbuses of the world, to do what we've done from a print publication, to do what we've done from an event perspective, to do what we've done, kind of teaching part-time at the local university. It's a much bigger task in a bigger city, and having the opportunity of coming from those environments and coming back here, it's been very rewarding, and it's also been opportunistic to be able to capitalize off of these opportunities that I think that are out there that aren't there in other cities.
Right.
And you just go look at you go look at your traditional golf environments, Pinehurst, Myrtle Beach, like they're established. Like you've got a blue ocean. You've got a blue ocean. So blue ocean, red ocean. Red ocean is you're competing in a industry and a market, and you're based on service and price, and it's a race to the bottom. What differentiates you from anybody else? And in your competitive landscape, A1 concrete leveling, basically your competition is the old way.
Right.
Your sidewalk, your walkway is cracked.
Right.
You're going to break it up. You're going to report. You're saying, look, you can go that route, or you can use us, and it's a cost savings, and this is the new way.
Right.
Okay. You on golf, there's nothing new about golf, but there is something very blue ocean about the fact that you have a golf tournament. There's no other golf tournaments in this area, right? You've taken golf, turned it on its side, and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Marketing conferences is a blue ocean. Like there's chamber events, there's this one, but there's no marketing conference. So we took an opportunity to take a very crowded industry like agency, and then found a way to create an event that nobody, that it's a blue ocean. Mm-hmm. Anyway, listen, everybody, thank you for dropping on by the Do Live Marketing Show today. We are out of time, live from Stone Fruit Coffee, presented by Lift Marketing. Thank you for Crowe's Cabinets for sponsoring Cooking with Crows. Enjoy your playoff weekend, everyone. This is the start of the NFL playoff weekend. We will be back next Friday, 8:45 a.m. with Mike Mihas, also known as Mr. Jiu-Jitsu. Go to Facebook, look him up. He has an amazing Facebook presence. Everybody have a great weekend. I would like to thank our guest, Todd Franko from the greatest golfer, John Argiro, A1 Concrete Leveling, and Mr. Don Dragish of Dragish Marketing, and the new mayor of Canfield, Ohio. I'm Dennis Schiraldi signing off for the Do Live Marketing Show. Take care, everybody.